Okay, welcome back to Simply Web, where we are working through creating a WordPress theme from a flat HTML template. So in the last video, you can see here we had just finished off our features. So the next section we're working on is the About Us solution. So let's jump over, close this one here. Let's go over to our HTML and our index. And we're in our About Start. So we copy that to that. Let's get that. We'll go over to our template parts and we're working in our home and we'll change that to about.php. Paste that in there. Just clean that up with IntelliSense. And nothing will have changed in here yet. Let's also delete that last one that we'd added in just for testing. All right, if we go over to our front page, duplicate that line, and we want to change features to about. Now, when we refresh, there's all our about. So let's start adding in our custom fields. So first thing we need is a pre-heading, which is about us. So we'll add a new tab, because remember we're doing everything in tabs. Each section will be in a new tab, and we'll go about. Left to right. It doesn't matter about the placement once you set the first one, unless you've started a new tab group. Then we go about, and we want pre-heading. And then we want to make that a default value of about us. And then we want a heading. Let's have a look at this heading. I want to add a line break. I want that ability. So we'll go, we don't want it as a text, we want it as a text area. Presentation, we only want it as 2 rows, but we want to be able to automatically add our breakpoint. Our heading. Then we've got our description, which will be another text area. And once again, we'll make it one bigger because we want them to visually see that they can add more content. And then we've got these values here. So let's have a look at what they should look like. So each one of those is just a percentage value. Yep, that's it. There's no, oh, we do have that's the count up value. So starting at 0. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in this one, we're going to add repeater. And we've got a heading and a number value. So we want, this will be our counters. And we're going to add our heading. Title, I'm going to call it, not a heading, and we're going to add a value, which will be a number, and it'll be a value. And what we're going to do, because we only want because it's a number, we're going to go into our presentation and append afterwards the percentage sign. So it looks like sort of like this, and we can do that as a table. Let's add a presentation. We'll add a counter. Okay, what else do we need in this section? A button, a call to action button. So we go a link, and we'll go button. And the last one we want is, there should be an image there. Yep, there's an image. And as we've used before, we've said before, we're going to use the ACF image helper function, so we return the image array. Cool. Save those changes. Update our homepage, and now we've got our About tab with our About Us heading. And let's add that in there. Now, one thing I'm noticing about this HTML template that I've just noticed here is this is actually a H1. Now, if you remember, in our hero, we have a H1. You should never have multiple H1s on a website. So we can make this a H2. I'm going to change it to a H2, which will change the font size, but we should be able to give it a H1 class, which will then append the H1 styles to it. But we should never have more than multiple H1s. You get multiple H2s, it works in a hierarchy. So H1 is more important than a H2. H2 is more important than a H3. But H1, that's your main descriptor for your page. Never have more than two. So whoever coded this didn't do quite the right thing there. So we'll add in this one. Now we're going to add it in our counters. So the first one is 85 and digital marketing. Second one is 90 and SEO and backlinks. This always makes me laugh when I see this. Okay, to me these are pointless. All right, if you were telling your customer about your skills, this is pointless. Why would you tell someone you're only 85% successful at digital marketing? That's insane. It does not make sense to me. If you're trying to achieve a goal, so let's say you're trying to raise money and you're 85% of the target, that's a different story. But yeah, for the sake of a skill set, these counters, please don't ever do it on your own site. I use this not because I agree with it when I chose this template. It's just because it was a way for us to work with different ACF fields and different counters and different functionality. That's why I chose this template. And design and development, we're 95% good at that. Button is read more. So we'll just add a button that doesn't go anywhere, read more. And then our image is supposed to be the about PNG. So let's add our image, upload, select, and about PNG. Sweet, that one there. Select. We'll go update that. So now we've got our content in. The one thing I'm wondering how we're going to handle is the different colors, because these are handled by classes: primary, secondary, dark. So I'm trying to work out the best way to do that. All right, anyway, let's just do this. All right, okay, so let's go here up the top, like we do when we started all our other template areas. Hopefully, as we move down and move on, this will become more common sense to you, more obvious in what I'm about to do. So we want the pre-heading. About pre-heading. Now we're going to, and then that has a default value of about us, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go that, because what we're going to do, we're going to go PHP if pre-heading equals empty. Do that one. Else echo out the pre-heading. Now, so basically, what have I done? That should be right. Oh, I have a close. Oh, there we go. All right, so what I'm doing is I don't want this pre-heading, this about us, to ever be blank. I always want a value there. whether it's about us or whatever we've custom. So we're telling it to be empty if there's nothing in here. But if it is empty, we can also do this. Set it as default, I suppose. But we're saying if it is empty, then we're doing that. Otherwise, we're doing that. Okay, so that's the pre-heading. The heading I am happy to be empty. So the heading can be empty. What I want to know is, if I refresh this now, did I not do heading? I haven't done heading yet. Dumbass. Heading. Okay, so is it not? What? Let's just var up that and check what's going on there, because it's not outputting. There we go. So it is a value. Ah, equals equals. It does not equals. That's what it is. Because I've copied that right there. All right. So if we look, this one, inspect styles, has a font size 36.37. If I inspect this one, the font size is still 36.37, and that's because you can see H1 or .h1. So even though we've changed it to a H2 by giving it the class of H1, we're still rendering out the same size. So visually it's the same, but SEO friendly and things like that, and especially for page readers and things like that, for people with disabilities, and a whole heap of stuff about front end that I'm not fully up to the times with. For that, we're still making sure we're honouring all that hierarchy. So like I said, never put more than one H1. And if you ran this through a validator of some sort, it would actually tell you that. It would error and say, hey, you've got multiple H1s here. You shouldn't. And your SEO page reader, SEO readers and all that will be like, hey, hang on. And they could even non-validate you. So yeah, so never have more than H1. But Bootstrap, Tailwind's the same. Define it as a class as well, so you can maintain your font sizing. Okay, we've got a console error, but that's probably that missing image, which we'll get to in a second. So then we're going to do the description. And we'll go up here. And we want the about description. Let's just go and get all of these actually while I'm... we want our counters, which is an array, because it's a repeater. So we want to make sure we're returning an empty array. And then the next thing we've got is our image. Cool. All right, so if description is blank, is not blank, we can output the description. Otherwise, output nothing. Then now we want our counters. So we're going to go into each one of these. You can see is the value. So we're going to go PHP if is counters. End if. Then we're going to loop through the counters for each counters. As counter. We need to put our opening PHP in there. Now we're looping through. So now if we will see all the same digital marketing. Boom, 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 boom. We've got these two extras here. So for now, I'm just going to copy those out. Okay. So now, let's just var dump counter. Actually, we'll do this in another PHP because we'll get all the values. So var dump counter. So we're working within the array, so that's fine. So we want value equals if not empty counter, and we want the value. And then we want the title. Now, so in here, we want the title. We want to leave the percentage in there because we're working in percentages, but we're using an integer, if you remember rightly. And there's our bar, and that's where we want to input the value there. Okay, so now if we refresh, oops. Refresh. We can see we're getting the values, but you can now see our colors. So if we bootstrap output of this, so here's our colors here. That's our colors. So I'm going to add another fill group in here, and we're going to make it a radio button, and we're going to choose color. I'm in Australia, British English, color has a U, and these are our choices. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that into a new text file. Okay, so first thing we want to do is copy that one, and we want to put a space between, because that's, if you look at the choices, it wants value, space, colon, space, label. So then we're going to get rid of those spaces, so they are our values. I want to copy that again, copy that, and I want to go span style equals height 10 pixels, width. I don't know if this will work, so let's just see if we can make it work. And we want background to be that. Close off that. Close off our span. And then what we want to do is I want to go copy this again, and copy that, highlight that. So, and then I want to copy all the way to the end. No, so actually, that's not going to work. We'll do it that way. Blue. Indigo. Purple. Pink. Red. So I'm hoping we'll see a little color swatch with the color and the name in the label. So I'm just creating all this in my VS Code, and then I'll copy and paste this into my ACF field. Right. Now, hang on. What I might do, I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to paste it into my VS Code. I'll show you why. We're nearly finished here. What we're going to do is, well, I'll just finish this off. We're going to programmatically populate this value. Okay, so we're going to do this so we don't add anything in here. So basically, whenever there's a color field name that is a radio button, what I want to do is go through and populate the choices dynamically. So if we go into ACF here, ACF dynamic populate select, well, we can go in here and we can see that here's a helper function. So color field choices, this is what we want to do. So let's go into our ACF file. In our ink folder we have an acf.php. Function, let's do that, and we don't want to make it ACF, we'll make it simply, simply, and add that filter. So what we want to do is, let's you can see it here. We first reset the choices. So let's go field choices equals an empty array. That is the same as doing that. All right, in current PHP version. Probably older version like PHP 5 and things like that, you might have had to do that. You might not have followed that, but now we can just do the square brackets. All right, so now our choices needs to be an array, and we're going to go, and then we go for each choices as choice, and we want to go field choices, and then we want to go in here, we want to do key, in fact, because we're going to set it up with a key. So we'll go key, this all makes sense in a second, key, and then we want to make that choice. You can do this like, we can go colors, because that's what we're outputting, for each colors as color. Okay, and then return field. I did. Okay, so what we're doing is we're creating, so you can see they're doing if is array, but we're defining an array. So we know it's an array because we're creating the array. It's not doing it dynamically, they're doing it from a text area. So we want to make an array of our colors. So our colors here actually needs to be an array. So this one here, we're going to go like, oops, we're going to highlight all of that. So all those, and we're going to go comma equals span, go to the end of that line, go to the start of the line and do that. So now, if we go back to our ACF field, there's our colors. So we've got it as an array. So we've got our key is BS blue and that's the value. So let's go refresh. Now the other thing I want to do is put this as a block, not as a table, because it's going to get a bit tight in here. Oh, maybe not. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that did not work because we're looking at the select field. So let's do this. Let's go var dump field, because we're doing name is color. Oh, because color. And there we go. So our little swatch isn't working. Let's have a look at that, inspect. So if we look at our label, our background color is not coming in. Why? I wonder why that is not coming through. Because if I do that, if I go background red, oh, no, it still didn't. Right. Display inline. What? There we go. So if we just do this. So now we've got this display. No, even display in icon didn't. Okay. Fine. Data color. So we're going to do this with some fancy CSS. We're going to add some CSS to this. So where's our ACF? Let's get our values here. Here we go. Oh, what happened? What did I change? Why did I undo that? There we go. So we've got our colors, and now we've got this data color. So how do we do? How are we going to do this? Let's add a class. Go. Refresh. Now we can go in here. We can go function simply admin color style. So we're going to go. Then we're going to go CSS equals style. No. Yeah. Style. In that, and we're going to go simply color, display inline block width 10 pixels, height 10 pixels, and for now we're just going to put a background of red. Where is it? Oh, we want to add action admin head, admin footer. We'll drop this in the admin footer. Still not. Oh, we're not echoing the CSS. Oh. Try that. Didn't put the class in there. We can even just make sure it's just this in we're targeting the span. There we go. Cool. So what now we want to do is we want to go JS equals script and I'm going to change this to content actually equals content dot equals. We'll just output that. So now we want to go jQuery. We want to target the span with the class of simply color. I'm going to do this in multiple actually. Just to make it easier for me to read. We want let color, no, let swatches equals them. And then we want to go content dot equals, and we want to loop through. Let's have a look. So how would we do this? So we want to go Let's have a look. What am I doing? Just I don't normally work with jQuery. I normally work with VHS, Vanilla JS. So actually, we could just go swatches. First one go if actually we can do this. jQuery span.simplycolor.each function loop through, and then we want to close that off, and in here we want to go, we want to get the color. So I can't type, so we want to go let color equals jQuery this, and we dot data, and we want color, no with a U because that's what we put it in our spans. Okay, so we're going looping through each of those, and we're getting the color. And then it's really weird working within PHP because we're working within PHP to echo out the script. And then from there, we're going to go jQuery this and we want to do the CSS of background color, and this will be the color that we've just set. I think that's right. Yeah. So we're looping through each span simply color. We're getting the data color attribute, which we've set up in there, and then we're assigning that as background color. So if we refresh that, now we want to get rid of that background color here. We got it. Did not work. Why has that not worked? Is it in there? Let's go to our footer. And there it is. Span simply display this one. Let's just do a console log. Color. So if we refresh now, we're not getting any console log, even though it's there. Oh, hang on. Simply color should be that. There we go. Cool. Let's get rid of that console log. We don't need to see that anymore. So we've done it with jQuery. So what we've done is we've added in the footer, we've added the style to make that 10 by 10 inline block, and then we've used jQuery to assign the color. So now when someone picks the color, they can do it like that. Cool. So the first one we'll do is indigo. Let's go back to our, we don't need that now. Let's go back to our about. So our first color was background primary, which primary I don't was, well, it's a purple color. So let's just do purple. Let's just have a look. Inspect. Yeah, we'll just do that. Purple, and then the next one. Well, let's have a look. First one was purple, yellow, and black. So we want purple. We'll do bright purple, indigo, yellow. Oh, look, there's primary. So there we go. Primary. No, up here we want primary. We want secondary. The first one was primary. Second one was secondary, and the third one was dark. Cool. Let's update that, and let's go. Color is field group is just color. And we want to go if color equals empty, I'm going to make it the primary color. Color equals, so that way there's always a color. Oh, I don't know if this will work, because we're outputting as BS, not background. So if we do this, style equals background color, instead, because the classes were BG, 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 where these are BS, BS, BS. So, but let's see how that works. The dump color. BS primary, BS. Yeah. No, because it's not a color. It's a class. It's a class. So let's go back to our ACF. If we duplicate this, and change it to background, and we make that BG color, we'll just change new text file. We'll just Control-L and make that BG. Go back to here. We'll change that to counters. So that was, we're passing through the color class, not a background color class. So we want to change that to BG dash color. So we're still seeing the same values. So we want that to be background primary, background secondary, background dark. And in the front end, we want the, so now we're going No, it should be BG. Did I update the wrong one? I did. Background colors. So, snap me back into place. There we go. All right. Refresh. What have I done here? Let's see if background color field choices. Background color. Override them. So they're now background colors. Refresh. There we go. So let's reset primary, secondary, and dark. And we go update, refresh. Why are they still outputting? Counters, color. What's going on there? We're still outputting as BS. Whereas they should be. Oh. Primary, secondary, dark, update, refresh. Degree, it's alright, cool, let's try that. So if we go back to our ACF now, not ACF, our about, and oh, come on, and copy that out and get rid of that style, and we can output that as our class. So look, bingo, bango, bongo. Let's just have a look, see, let's just choose a different color here. Let's just go a nice pink. Let's update that page and let's see if I don't know why background pink didn't work. Maybe it's not a valid color. But just because it existed as a BS color, it doesn't mean it lists it as a background color, and it doesn't. So we'd have to go into, if we go into our bootstrap, so if we go to our functions.php and get our bootstrap, no, that's the JS, we want the style, bootstrap icons, bootstrap. Oh, we are doing, we are loading it. So if we go into our bootstrap, which is in the HTML, CSS bootstrap. So if we copy that out, we go to a website called Dirty Markup. Dirty Markup. And we'll go into CSS, paste that, and we go clean. So there's our root colors that we copied. But where are all our, if we go Control F dot BG, no, there is no background. Well, there is. No, I didn't now put it there. So that's all our background classes in here. There's only 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's all of them. So if we do that, so if we select all of our background, and so then we want to go and select all again, we go these, and then we want to go, so these are actually our background colors. That's what I'm doing now. Sorry, I've been quiet while I've been copying and pasting. I know it's boring. Let me just finish this off and I'll come back. Okay, so welcome back. So what I've done is I found, because I went into the Bootstrap CSS, got all the background classes, and then I've actually added them to our background color field choices. So remember, if I set the color as pink, it didn't work because that's not a valid background color. So now we do have valid background colors, so every color will work. You'll also see I've added a little gray box around all the styles for these, just so that way, like, so when you get to the white, you actually see that it's white. Now, what I'm going to do is, if we refresh this now, we've got all of them working. Everything's working as we should. We can choose any color we want. So if I wanted a danger, refresh that. It's now danger. All right, so that's all working as we expected. Let's get rid of that var dump that we've got in there. Don't need that. In fact, we can close everything to the right now. We don't need that because that was our temporary holding. Okay, so we've now done all that, so we can get rid of all these skills. And now we've got the button to do. So this is, did I do the about button? Didn't do the about button. There we go. So we'll get the about button, which is an array. So we want to return that as an empty array. I did do the image. That's weird, isn't it? Anyway, so now we've got the button. So we can go PHP if is a button. So if it is an array, the button, and it is not empty, we can output the button. Do you know the amount of times I do this? I should create a custom function helper class for that. But for now, so we want, let's just copy that because we're going to replicate that. We're going to change that to target. So we want to go if not empty and button, and we want URL. Right, and copy all of that. We want that one to be target. And then for the value, we want to get rid of the read more and make that title. Okay, so now if we refresh the page, I can get rid of my var dump. Yep, get rid of that. We've got that button still there, but that's now dynamic. And now we've got to do our image. So if we go back to our live demo, our image actually is 700 by 700, 700 by 698. So we'll create that as a image size. So we go back to our functions.php and in here, so we want 700 by 700. And we're not going to crop that, we're going to scale that down. Actually, no, we'll scale it. So we want that one. And we want to go back into our tools, force, regenerate those thumbnails. And then in our about, we want to just go ACF image, our helper class, image, and our size is that. We'll just wrap that in. So we go PHP if is array image, and we'll close off that PHP if statement. So if we go back now, refresh, there's our image coming in. So that takes care of the About Us section. And so the next section in the next video we'll be copying off will be these counters here. So I will see you in the next video.